Have you been thinking about adding more workouts to your training plan, hoping that it'll finally help you see more muscle growth? It's really easy to fall into the trap of thinking if you do more, you'll get more results, especially when it comes to building muscle. You hear people say things like, more time in the gym means more muscle. If you're not working out for at least 2 hours, you're not doing enough. No pain, no gain. If you're not sore, you didn't work out hard enough. The more exercises you do, the better your gains will be. We've literally been conditioned to believe that more is better. This is why you see so many people spending half of their workout kicking their leg back on the Stairmaster, thinking the more and the longer they feel their glutes burning, the more their glutes are going to grow. Trying to hit every single muscle group every day, assuming that the more often you train, the more muscle you're going to grow. And then also, you have people piling on random exercises that don't even align with their goals. The truth is, it's not about how long you train. It's not about how many days you train. It's all about the strategy behind your workouts. So, in this video, I'm going to break down why more workouts and more exercises don't always equal better results, especially when it comes to building muscle, and what you need to focus on instead. So, you could be training 2 days a week, 3 days a week, 4 days a week, 6 days a week, you name it, and still not see results or see great results. Because when it comes to building muscle, there's three factors that make all of the difference. And these are the ones that you need to consider and make sure are in place in your program before you start to think about adding more days or adding more exercises. So the first thing is exercise selection. When we're talking about exercise selection, we're speaking of thinking about, are you hitting your muscles from different angles and different positions? So think of any muscle you want to grow, and I can show you at least 3 different ways that you must be hitting them in your program in order for you to grow that muscle. So glutes is a common example. Take your glutes, and biggest exercise or most common exercise that people think of, especially women, are hip thrust, right? So your hip thrust is going to focus on your glute max in a shortened position. But then you also need to be doing glute exercises that target it from a position where it's not shortened, so a lengthened position. So RDLs are a great example of that. RDLs strengthen your glutes in the lengthened position, and this is really important for muscle building. And then we also have step ups and Bulgarian split squats, or split squats in general, or lunges, right? Those are going to target your glutes in a single leg position. And that's really good for overall strength because you literally can't compensate. You can't offload the right side and focus on the left. You're using that single leg to do the exercise, which is really important for general strength, and it's also important for growing muscle. But it's only going to work if you're doing it in a way that biases the muscle you're looking to target. So if you're not sure how to make step ups or split squats or lunges glute bias, then check out the video that's in the description. So exercise selection is a big key, right? And then think of upper body. So if you want to grow your upper body, you're going to need to think of the same things, right? Say you want to grow your chest. You're going to have to target your chest from different positions. So a flat bench press would work. And then you also have an incline bench press, a chest fly. These are all things that are going to target your chest, but from different positions. So the flat bench press is going to target your chest from like an overall standpoint. And then when you do incline press, you're going to target more of your upper chest. And then when you do a chest fly, either with a cable or a dumbbell, you're going to be targeting your chest muscles from a stretched position. And then you could even play around with going from high to low or low to high, right? So those are really important for muscle building. And as you can see, you can hit one muscle from various different positions. And this is important because one, you're going to be able to target different muscle fibers doing that. And then you're also going to be able to address any imbalances you have. And then that's going to play a role in decreasing your overall risk of injury. A lot of people run into injuries because they're doing exercises for muscles in the same way repetitively over and over, and they're neglecting certain parts of it. So that's really important just from an overall standpoint. Second thing that you need to consider is intensity. So are you challenging yourself each set, Or are you just going through the motions, breezing through your sets and just saying you worked out? And that's really the difference between somebody who trains and somebody who works out. When it comes to muscle building, you need to challenge yourself enough to grow muscle. And that doesn't mean go to failure every single set, but you have to think about how hard your effort level is each set. So by the time you finish a set, you want to feel like if you were to continue, you can only do 1, 2, or maybe 3 reps, right? So this is called reps in reserve. And here's basically how it works. So if you're doing a set of 10 of dumbbell bench press, by the time you hit that 10th rep, you should feel like if you had to continue, you can do 1, maybe 2 more before hitting failure, right? That should look like the bar or the weight slowing down. That should feel like you are getting close to failure. But if you breeze through those 10 reps and you feel like you can knock out 10 more, the weight is too light and you're not pushing yourself with enough intensity. And muscles grow when they are hit with enough intensity. So that's why it's so important. You can't just go through the motions and say, oh, I did X amount of sets. It doesn't matter. You need to train with the right intensity if your goal is to build muscle. So let's give a real world example. So let's stick with the dumbbell bench press. Say you use 15 pounds, right? And you're doing a set of 10. And then by the time you get to 10, you feel like you didn't do anything. You feel like you could do 10, maybe 20 more. That weight is too light, and then you need to increase it. So say you increase it to 30-pound dumbbells, and you're doing a set of 10 again. By the time you get to 10, you should feel like if you had to continue, you'd only be able to do 1, maybe 2 more reps. This is a perfect weight, and that's the weight that you should train with. The goal here is not to completely burn yourself out. It's not to push until you are sore. It's really just to make sure you're giving your muscles enough of a stimulus, enough of a challenge to adapt and to grow. Third thing is going to be volume. So how many reps and sets are you doing for the muscle groups you're looking to grow? So not just in one workout, but you want to look at the entire week. And this is why you can't just follow the first workout or any workout that just pops up on your timeline, because it's not helpful when your goal is muscle building, because it doesn't account for the volume that we're talking about. It doesn't account for weekly volume. It may have you doing a certain number of sets for a specific muscle group that you want to grow, but that number of sets may not be in line with what you're doing or what you need to do for the week. But you may think it's effective just because you're getting a workout in. When you are trying to build muscle, you have to be a lot more specific than that, not just doing anything that pops up on your timeline. This is the reason why people could work out consistently, but they're not really seeing the results they want when it comes to seeing muscle growth. And this is also why it doesn't matter how many days you're training, because you can break your training up in a specific way to hit the desired number of sets. So typically when you're trying to build muscle, there's a range of sets that you want to hit. So 10 to 20 sets per muscle group per week is best for muscle growth, right? So you may be thinking that's a pretty large range. Obviously, the more advanced you are, the more sets you're going to have to accumulate throughout your week. But this is a good range that you can start with. So for example, say you're looking to grow your quads and you're doing 2 lower body days. On day 1, you're doing back squats, 4 sets of back squats with the right intensity, and then 3 sets of split squats with the right intensity. And then on the second day, you're doing 3 sets of leg press and you're doing 3 sets of step ups. That accumulates enough sets a week in order to stimulate muscle growth, considering that you are training those sets with the appropriate intensity, not just breezing through them, right? And as you can see, you can definitely break up 10 to 20 sets across the week, whether you're training 2 days a week, 3 days a week, 4 days a week. Now, if you're training only 1 time a week and your goal is to build muscle, you're going to realize that you can't hit 10 sets for every muscle group in one training session. And that's when you start to devise your program based on that. But if you're working out 2 days a week, you can easily hit the adequate amount. And if you're working out anything more than that, you can definitely hit the adequate amount plus more. So it really comes back down to having a well-designed program that hits all of these components. So instead of saying, oh, I need to go to the gym more, You don't. You need to focus on maximizing the days you're already training. So you want to make sure that your exercise selection is correct based on the muscle groups you're looking to grow. You want to make sure that you're pushing yourself with the right intensity. Sure, you could be in the gym for 2 hours, but if you're on the phone, if you're banging out sets and you feel like you're not getting anything done, it's pretty much useless. Like, sure, you're doing more than the person who's at home, but if you have a specific goal, that's not getting you to it, right? And then you have to plan your weekly volume based on how many days you have available to train. So it's not just about the days, it's more so about what you're doing on those days. Before you start to try to add more things in, make sure all the things that we discussed in this video is in place. If you're unsure of how to do that, if you're unsure of how to structure your training for muscle building, grab the workout creator guide that's in the description. It's literally going to walk you step by step through building a routine based on how many days you can realistically train and the equipment you have available. And if you found this video helpful, share it with somebody who lifts. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. And I'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace.